everyone, Tina here. I hope you're having a wonderful day. I'm so glad you're joining me for another 5 Easy Step card. Today we are creating a UGG card. It's part of the Spellbinders This is Life collection. Everybody just loved the dumpster fire card, so I thought we would make another one using this stamp and cutting die set. It's a super huge UGG, and usually when the greetings are this big, it's my focal point, but it could be a focal point, but we're going to actually add a flower. So either or would be our focal point today. We're going to be using the layered Wildflowers die set from Spellbinders, and then I'm also bringing in the push pin notes die set for my card. I did want to bring in some pattern paper, and so the paper pad, boy, that's kind of like a tongue twister, pattern paper pad. We're going to be using the Simple Stories Just Beachy. There was this print here that I really thought would be fun for the background. Kind of a tone-on-tone pink. But then I was also looking at the ledger paper that was in here. Since we have the push pin note, I thought the ledger would go really good with it. I'm not sure which one we'll use. We'll find out when we get to that point. But let's jump in and get started with step 1 and create our focal image. So we're going to go ahead and do some die cutting. We have some long leaves I'm going to cut out with some green cardstock. And I just want this end piece that has the curve. So I'm going to save a little cardstock and add it to the end. And then we're going to create this flower here. I'm going to use some Spellbinder chiffon. And then we'll cut out the flower center with chiffon too. We have a leaf that we're going to cut out. Maybe 2 leaves. And then this is for the flower center also. We're just going to bring in some black. I'm going to zoom in a little bit, and then we're going to add a little bit of ink. I'm going to use my Distress Oxide inks today. This is Picked Raspberry, and I'm just going to add some pink to the edges. And then I'm going to, let's darken up our flower center too. There we go. I'm going to add a little bit of ink to my leaves also. This is Distress Oxide. It's crushed olive. Let's use a little bit of crushed olive here. It may not be dark enough. Crushed olive's not dark enough, so I'm going to switch this out. Let's see. Let's add mowed lawn instead. Yep, mowed lawn is it. Add a little bit to the bottom of the stem. Let's clean off our work surface and we'll put together a real pretty flower. Now we're going to bring in our glue. To put together this flower, it's pretty easy. Just going to add the first layer. We can add a dot of glue, and then we can add the second layer. And then we add another dot of glue. We add this little flower stamen, and then we can add another dot of glue. We'll add the flower center. And then we can add the bottom of the stamen here. It really adds a little bit of dimension. Let me show you. That's all there is to our flower. I'm not going to add the leaves because I'm not sure where I want to place them. And so we'll do that when we add them to our project. So that will be my focal point. Now we're going to move along to step number 2 and create our home panel. That is where our push pin notes will come in. I'm going to die cut this out with some white cardstock. And then the flip over piece, I'm going to use my fog cardstock, which is a very pale gray. And then while I'm at it, I think I'm going to create a couple of push pins. Technically, I think the push pins will probably be part of my focal point. Maybe not, but we're going to create some push pins. I'll create 3 of them here. This is Spellbinders. I think it's brushed silver. so it's not as shiny, but we're gonna die cut this out and I'll be right back. To put together a little post-it note, all you do is add a little glue here, and then you add this layering piece. Now this is a really handy die set. I really like it. I'll leave the project that I created using this one at the end of the video if you guys want to check out a project I made with this. But you don't have to have this die set. There's ways to substitute. This is actually 3-inch wide. I think it's 3 inches. Yeah, 3-inch wide. And if you were to take a piece of cardstock, I suggest just flipping over the back, maybe adding a little bit of ink. This is weathered wood. Just add a little weathered wood here. Okay, and then maybe a pencil. Maybe you could curl it up here. You can kind of recreate the same effect if you wanted to. So there's options. I would use a thinner piece of cardstock. The one that I grabbed happened to be my heavyweight, 110 pound, so it's very rigid. But if you wanted to use the thinner cardstock and do the same thing, maybe even add a little curve to this end piece. Let me show you. Just take a little curve off. You could do the same thing. So you just don't have the push pins. So there's options there. I am going to take my weathered wood and add a little bit of ink here. Just do a little shading with it. Since we have it out. Lovely. And then that is our little post-it note. I'm going to go ahead and put this to the side, and then we are going to create our little push pins. I created 2 of them. They're really easy. It's a 3-piece. It's a 3-piece set. You just add a glue to the little pointed piece, and then you add this top layer right over the top. And then to give the push pin a little bit of dimension, there's 2 extra pieces, one in the middle and then one for the very top. You can just add those extra pieces, and you have a dimensional little push pin all ready to go. Okay. I'm going to put that with my post-it, and now we're going to move along to step number 3 and create our greeting, which will be the UGG, which is so much fun. The UGG we're going to die cut out with some orange cardstock, and I thought we would add some tone-on-tone polka dots, and I have a Simon Says Stamp Swiss Dots stamp set. Maybe we'll I'm going to stamp some white polka dots on here. Maybe, do we want to do it before or after? Maybe we'll do it after, because I may use my pigment ink. Okay, let's die cut this out with some orange cardstock, and I'll be right back. Okay, rather than tone on tone, which will be close, I'm going to use my white pigment ink, and I'm just going to go over those polka dots. Okay, and then I'm going to add the UGG and the H, and I'm just going to use some scratch paper. I'll press it on there. Let's take a look. Wonderful. So now we have some subtle polka dots on here. Wonderful. Do we want to add some pink? Maybe I'll add a little bit of pink to the very bottom of our UGG. Let's see. Let's just add a little pink highlight. I love pink and orange together. The second part of my greeting is going to be Let's Cancel Today. And that's all there is to my greeting. Now we're going to move along and create our background. We're going to use the Just Beachy paper pad, and I chose the ledger. I think the ledger is going to go really good with the post-it note. So I'm going to trim this down to a card front panel. So it's going to be 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inches. As I was putting this down on my paper, I noticed I wrinkled a little bit. But you know what? I think I want more wrinkles. Kind of goes with our grading. So I'm going to wrinkle it up. Let's just wrinkle this up. I think that will be nice and fun. Okay, let's wrinkle it up, and then I'm going to add some adhesive behind here, and we'll flatten it and put this on the front of our card base, because wrinkles go with an UGG day. Let's go ahead and adhere our home panel. I'm going to put it almost in the middle here. I'm just putting it behind the flower here. I'm going to add our flower. Maybe that's a good spot. Let's add our UGG right over the flower. There we go. I think I'm just going to put one leaf. One leaf is all we're going to need. And then we have our little push pins. Which are so cute. Wonderful. Now we're going to add the second part of our grading, and we're going to put this right over the top. Put that right in the center of our UGG, and then we are going to move along to step number 5, which means it's time to embellish. And I'm going to embellish, of course, with my glazing glue. Glazing glue is like glossy accents. I'm going to add it over my push pins. Maybe just the top portion. Now we're going to go over the entire push pin. Give it a little dimension. And then I'm going to bring in my diamond stickles and add a little bit of sparkle to the oval part of my flower. And that's all I'm doing. We're going to keep it kind of simple today. Lovely. I think that looks wonderful. Hope you're not having an UGG day and you're having a wonderful day. Oh, speaking of UGG, I want to show you another way to use the UGG that I don't know if you guys realize you can do this or not. So I die cut out another UGG to show you. So this is our UGG, right? Of course, if you were to flip it around, you could have another word that says hug with your card. So it's a versatile UGG. Isn't it nice to turn your UGGs into hugs? So I don't know if you guys know you could do that or not, but just thought I would share that with you. But thanks so much for joining me. Have a wonderful day, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye. Thanks so much for sticking with me to the end. I have 2 more videos that you guys might be interested here. If you guys are new and like the content that you see, click that subscribe button and also the notification bell. That way for future videos, be notified. Also, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. It sure does help the channel. Have a wonderful day. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.